Yes, sir. Good day. Got to play a little golf. Got to watch Liverpool host a little trophy game. Got to see Khalif Battle pull a Jackie Robinson on him. That was a show. Fun. Got to hear about what you got to see. Heard the baseball team kind of put in a shift over the weekend.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shift. It was an overtime shift, as we like to call it in baseball, extra innings. That was wild. Saturday was wild. Friday was wild. Yesterday was wild. It was wild. And hey, I mean, just call it the weekend of great individual performances, right? Uh, Indoor track wins both men's and women's SEC championships. Hagen Smith and the rest of the pitching staff flat out dominant all weekend long. You had Hagen with 17 strikeouts, which is something we have to get into later because that was wild. And Caleb Battle with 42 points, only the third ever Arkansas player to score 40 or more in an SEC game. It's like, take your pick. I know someone was, well, what's most impressive about all of this? I don't know. I don't even know if I want to look at it that way because it's just all around. It's just great individual performances and a lot of fun to watch it all.
Yeah, the thing about Khalif Battle was how efficient he was, Phil. He was. It was one of those games where he didn't need 42 shots to get to his 42 points. 15 field goal attempts. That's when Khalif's at his best. 14 of 14 from the foul line. That's what I've been preaching. Attack. He's such a good free throw shooter. And then he got hot. He got it. We've been waiting for conference play for him to get hot from behind the arc, and he finally did, and he put on a show.
It's just one of those things. It's like, all right, get him the ball. He's obviously on fire. Keep feeding the beast. And no matter where it was that he pulled up from, I mean, if it was 5 feet behind the 3-point line, if it was just inside the arc, I mean, he hit absolutely everything. I love what he said about if the president told him to stop shooting, he would keep shooting. Shoot or shoot, right? That's what I'm always told. You shoot your shot, especially if you're a shooter, and he is. So that was just that was great to score 42 of 88 points as well. I mean, for a while, I mean, he was over half of Arkansas's point total. So what a fun game that was, and a sweet Mizzou, because you kind of had to. You kind of had to keep Missouri in their reality of basketball misery. What is that now? 12 straight? I think 14 straight. That's what it is. 14 straight. So.
I thought also the captain, L captain Devo Davis. I thought he quietly had a very Devo like game. Very very efficient. He. You would think that maybe he would have hit one of those threes. They were good looks. They just didn't go for him. But 9 boards, 6 assists, a steal, a block. It's kind of a regular Devo game out there, kind of figuring out, hey, what can I do to help this team win today?
So yeah, and that 88-73 for a win. You get a little momentum going here. You get to beat Vanderbilt tomorrow. Should be able to pull that off. And you had the perfect game thrown by Robin Heron, softball pitcher, 21 up, 21 down. Illinois State the opponent. Can't get any better than that. So, it's like it was kind of amazing to see. Hagen did his thing on a Friday. I think Heron threw a perfect game Saturday. Battle's game was on Saturday, so that was really cool. Women's basketball had a tough one yesterday, and if we're going to talk great individual performances, we won't get into the women's basketball team just yet. So it's just these are the kind of performances that everybody's always going to remember. I mean, there will be that Saturday, the Missouri game. That's the Caleb Battle game now. You don't have to even say you remember that game that Arkansas beat Missouri and Caleb Battle scored 42 points. No, all you got to say is, that's the Caleb Battle game. It's the same with Hagen Smith. You remember that Friday night against Oregon State when Arkansas and the Beavers played this great ball game? Yeah, you just say it was the Hagen Smith game, and we're all going to know exactly what it is. You know what I mean?
That's right. It's what's pretty cool too, Phil, is it's always somebody's first ever game to see the Hogs. I think about my first game seeing Madre Hill go for 6 touchdowns. Think about all the 9-year-old, 12-year-old kids, whatever. It was somebody's first game ever to go up there to watch Razorback basketball, and they got this. They'll remember that till the end of time. To what Battle did. That's pretty good. Same thing on the baseball park. Getting to go to a big league stadium, somebody's first time to see the Hogs play, even if it's the first time to see them this year. but you'll remember it, man. You'll click back to it and say, man, that was a show right there.
Well, I mean, now I'm not going to say that the basketball game Saturday was one of those games that felt like a tournament game, because I mean you're at the latter part of the season. You know where you are in terms of whether or not you're in the tournament. You probably have to win. You got to win the SEC tournament to make it, and no one's going to confuse Missouri with a good basketball team right now. Friday's baseball game at Globe Life, Arkansas, Oregon State, that was a postseason level basketball game. That was an Omaha level baseball game. That's the kind of game that it felt like it. You know, you'll say sometimes hey, I mean, remember the Purdue exhibition, right? What did everybody say? The intensity of it, the feeling of what it meant. It had a feeling of like, wow, this feels like a game in March. Obviously, it wasn't, and you're not going to see those teams match up in March. What I saw on Friday was exactly the kind of baseball game you see in a super regional, a regional final, and it's the kind of game that gets played routinely in Omaha at Charles Schwab Field in the College World Series. So, I mean, it's not like there was pressure on or anything. Nobody's season is made or lost on the second weekend of the college baseball season. You saw a really high-level game and high-level pitching both ways. And I don't think you'll ever see anything like what Hagen Smith did. I just look. I did simple math with my kids to try to talk to them and let them know like how impressive this is. 3 outs an inning, 6 innings, 18 outs, 17 of those by strikes, and for all 15 outs in the first 5 innings to be on strikes against that lineup, like the leadoff batter for Oregon State, Matt, Travis Bazzana. He's a left-hand hitting second baseman from Australia. He's going to be a top 10 pick. Mm-hmm. He is one of the toughest hitters in all of college baseball. And Hagen struck him out 3 times, including on 3 pitches to start the game. And that was just more of the same for the rest of it. What that was a high-level athlete who is going to at some point pitch Major League Baseball, who is at his absolute best. And you know the weird thing about this, too, with his stuff, he could have been pitching against anybody. A major league team would have had a lot of trouble against what Hagen did last Friday. That was as high level of a pitching performance as I've ever seen and that anybody might ever see. So it's not the kind of thing you can ever expect to see again.
Who was the Phil? I know the pitchers they balled out. What about the catchers? Did we have a different catcher start each game? Who was the rotation for the catchers?
It was 3 different catchers.
3 different guys, yeah.
3 different catchers, and I think part of that is because nobody grabbed that position, I think, in both ways, defensively and offensively. So that question mark has yet to be answered.
Although when you have a guy go out there and the guy throws 7, don't you think he's going to go with the same catcher again? Is there some type of relationship or rapport being built with these pitchers and catchers that they're probably going to continue to? If they have success, you're not going to change it, right?
There can be. There's no doubt about that. And I don't know if we're going in the personal catcher route, but yeah, I mean that is the case in some ways. You know, Hagen working with a veteran catcher in Hudson White, Brady Tigert working with a younger catcher in Ryder Helfrich. The change was on Sunday when Parker Rowland caught with Mason Molina pitching, and it was Rowland who caught the freshman Colin Fisher last week. So that's where there was a little bit of a change. But I mean, honestly, let's say like if Hudson White would have gone 3 for 4 on Friday, he probably catches Sunday. But he didn't. He had a little case of the dropsies here and there. You know, Helfrich had an issue here and there, maybe blocking a couple of pitches. So I think if you want to get your guys some playing time, but there's a game on Tuesday. And I think if somebody would have shown that they were, ahead of everybody else in the first 2 games, one of those guys would have caught Sunday. But instead it was Parker. And, he caught well. So... But I mean, it's like you want to know a little bit more about the team after 2 weeks. There may have been more questions thrown out outside of the idea that this team can win any game they play. Because when you have starting pitching like that, when you have starting pitchers that throw, 17 innings scoreless over the weekend, and they're doing that on a pitch count, you can win any game you play. I'm not going to tell you that they're going to be undefeated. I'm not that foolish. But I'm also not going to tell you that that they're not as good as we think they might be. Because when you have that kind of starting pitching, sometimes all you need to do is score 3 runs, 4 runs. Now, right now, that's an issue to be able to get up to that level, but they'll start to hit. That's my feeling. The starting pitching is the best that I've ever seen for a college baseball team. And there is no way there's another team in the country that has basically 3 Friday night starters that went out and absolutely shoved against. I don't think Michigan is all that good, but I think Oklahoma State is good. I know Oregon State is good. And I think Arkansas is really good too. We'll open up the McClarty-Daniel hotline. Calls and texts, 877-377-6963. Connor O'Gara and Mike Irwin on the show, but nobody in hour number 1, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Arkansas, will you make the Final Four? In them wacky uniforms with the pigs with horns. And did I hear you say you were playing a game today with the home crowd yelling, woo, pig suey? Hey, those pigs may be hogs, but they're kosher to me.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
With the 2023 Buick Enclave at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get $1,250 in total savings or 2.9% financing on a 23 Buick Enclave. The 23 Buick Enclave, designed for the road ahead and well-crafted for your refined taste. Test drive a new Buick Enclave and experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson GMC.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty-Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty-Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty-Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty-Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty-Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor A from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our school.
Get hurt. Somebody did get hurt because nobody in Wake Forest gave a damn whether or not Duke made it off the court safely. They didn't care about that at all. Something's got to be done about this because it is much more important for the safety of the people that are on the court or the field than it is for you as a fan or the students who apparently just because they're students are able to just run on the floor or run on the field just because. It doesn't matter. That matters. That is minuscule in what matters compared to the safety of the people that are playing the game at the moment where they need to get off the floor. I don't know how this works.
Well, you can have a rush down clock where it's you just turn the shot clock on for 24 seconds, 30 seconds as soon as the game's over. It doesn't take 15 seconds to get the other team off the court. But yeah, you can't have kids getting hurt because you got crazy drunk pedestrians, to steal another term from Back to the Future. You can't have that happening and you get somebody hurt. But you can have a clock that after 12 seconds, after 20 seconds, it gives them time. Then you can rush the court if you want to. I think you take away their home gate. You take away home gate for if it's the rest of the season, if it's 6 games, if it's a semester. Sorry, none of your fans, none of the student sections, none of your boosters, nobody gets to go to watch a home game. And take away that type of money, then 100% they'll put an end or they'll find a solution. Because Phil, I feel like they're not even trying to find a solution. It's just like, oh, whatever, we'll find them $100,000 for the first time, and then it gets reset every 2 or 3 years. Anyways, nobody's storming the court or rushing the field 5 times in a season, so they're not worried about a $100,000 fine.
We don't worry about NFL fans rushing the field all en masse. You don't see that. It's happened in Major League Baseball, but not in a long time. In a really long time. I don't remember this happening in the NBA. This is just a college sports thing. This is just a college sports thing. And I keep hearing, let them have their fun. Let them have their fun. The students, come on. I mean, they get the experience of all of this. It's not your God-given right because you bought a ticket that you can run onto the field or the court because your team upset number 1 or something like that. Now, I would say this. If fans aren't going to listen when the PA announcer or the athletic director may actually get on the microphone and say, don't storm the court. They do it anyway. Are they going to watch a shot clock dwindle down
Well,
from
everybody
12
has
or 24 and say, I don't know, I don't need to be the first out there. I'll wait. I'll be a good citizen here.
And you make you have the ropes, you have an area. Say if you're going to rush, line up over here. This is how it's going to be. We're gonna come in from this side. We have all this technology and media and jumbotrons and whatever you want to say. There should be an easy way to be some type of countdown and gather them in like cattle, like they do everything. It's just you kind of herd them into the right way. But something has to be done. I don't know that I'm the one to figure it out, but that's a couple ideas right there. If you herd them into a certain spot with a countdown, I'm telling you, you take away the fans and that experience for a little bit, and they'll figure it out.
It feels to me like Wake Forest was just caught off guard by this moment. I remember a couple of times that Arkansas has rushed the court, and there were security that were in position to kind of form a path for Kentucky, or I don't remember if Auburn had that kind of path, but Kentucky did, to get off the court. There was nobody there to help the Duke guys have any idea what's. In fact, those Wake Forest students, they were running on the court while there was still a little bit of time on the clock.
We talked a little bit about Shanahan and the 49ers going over the overtime rules. There's something to be said, Phil. I don't know if all the coaches go over storming the court rules and the way you're supposed to go about it. Maybe he didn't know, because the officials know this. You talk to any official, they say when that game's over, what do? You hightail it. This is the fastest you see officials run when there's a court storming. They go. Players don't. They're just kind of ambling on, going about their way. Kind of, you're taught to go shake the other team's hand.
Yeah.
You're taught to be a good sport. But when there's I don't know if the coaches go over it. But when you have a field storming or a court storming, you got to get off the field right away. But to your point, it's not the player's responsibility. It's the fans' responsibility.
Look, it's almost the same idea as being in a concert and everybody rushing the stage. Someone gets crushed up at the front there, but the people in the back don't care about that. It's the hive mentality. You see everybody else doing it, well, you got to go do it too. And who cares who's right there down below you? Obviously, the people who were rushing the court that ran into Filipowski, they didn't care. They didn't care at all. It was all about being the first onto the court, getting into the center, and jumping around and looking for a camera. That's all that was about. I don't think anybody was trying to hurt him, but nobody was trying to avoid him either. Is it a criminal thing? That's what some people look at here.
Is it trespassing?
Trespassing. You're not supposed to be on there. You are not supposed to be on that court. Do you rope it off? Are we at the point where you got to build fences?
The thing about
why do you never have this happen in a college hockey game? Well, they have glass up for the sport. Nobody's climbing over the glass. Maybe we need a little glass on the side of every basketball arena now.
Yeah, I think you need a section. You need roped off. If you're going to storm the court, you come from this side of it. The college experience, though, too, and to your point, Phil, about the professional sports, as a college student, you feel part of the team, I think. I think when you're a fan of the New York Islanders or you're a fan of the Pittsburgh Penguins, it's a professional team. You're more of a fan of players and stuff that's going on. But you kind of, when you're a student on that campus, man, you really feel like you're an Arkansas Razorback or a Wake Forest Demon Deacon.
Well, the times I remember Major League Baseball fans rushing the field, it was about disco demolition or 10-cent beer night, or it was New York City, and they were just kind of ripping the field up after a Chris Chambliss walk-off home run to go to the World Series. That was, hey, we're going to go on the field, we're going to steal some grass and be a crazy New Yorker. But they don't do that anymore. One reason why? Because the cops are there standing in their way. There are guys who want to rush the field. But when the home team's about to win the World Series, what happens? There are cops, dozens of them, who are lining the field to make sure that things don't get out of hand. Are we now at the point where we have to have the police stand in the way of students at college basketball games because nobody can control themselves? I love celebrations. These are great moments. The sort of things like, you never forget the Hagen-Smith game. You'll never forget Arkansas beating Texas and the field being rushed, but you got to, there's first things first. Before we worry about the fun and the moment and the celebration, you got to take care of the people that are on the field and that are on the court. And that has to be the first thing that the administrators have to worry about. I mean, I guess that's the thing to take more than anything from this is that the Wake Forest administrators were totally taken off guard. And they get Duke, once a year in that building. I don't know how often they've beaten Duke, but it probably hasn't happened too often. Shouldn't they be ready for a moment like that, just in case?
They're a bubble team. That's for sure. Wake Forest. They're not in the NCAA tournament by any means right now. So yeah, they might have caught them a little off guard. They're really not that good of a team. But you're 18. The other thing, Phil, is you're 18-9. What are we rushing to court? It's not like you're you're 7-21. It's not like you're not that. I mean, that's the with Caitlin Clark when Ohio State rushed to Iowa. I was just like, y'all are a better team than Iowa. Like now that Iowa has the better player, no question. But it's like, what are you doing rushing the court? But what are you going to do?
Great Jason points out about the penalties for the SEC. For field and court storming, the ACC has no fines. That hasn't stopped anybody in the SEC from rushing the field at all.
Well, it resets every few years too. So it's not like it's not like they get up to it.
Maybe it makes the administrators a little more mindful of being prepared in that moment. But as far as the fans are concerned, that's not their money. That's not their skin. It doesn't affect a single person that rushes the court or rushes the field. What does it affect? It affects the university's bottom line.
And what kind of recruiting video do they show? What's going to be on Wake Forest's recruiting video for everybody going out next year? You think they're not going to show that whole scene of Wake Forest storming the court? Come here, be a part of this atmosphere.
Yep. Well, it was an ugly look. And anybody that were point out, when Clark got run over, and I know a couple people trying to point out with Filipowski, hey, their arms were up. Hey, if somebody's rushing at you and it's pretty obvious they don't care if you're in the way or not, you'd put your arms up as well. And you would try to defend yourself at that very moment too. So, hey, I'm on the athlete side in this case. I will always be on the athlete side in this case. Not in every case in other situations, but in this case, take care of the athletes first and foremost, because that's why you're there. It's to watch the game. It's to watch them do their thing. It is not to be a part of the game and to be on the court and to run somebody over. 877-377-6963 for the McClarty Daniel hotline if you got an idea about that. Stay with us. Much more to get to on halftime in just a moment.
Get ready for adventure with unbeatable deals at Wheels RV. Now through the end of February, we're rolling out the red carpet for you with our exclusive employee pricing event on select in-stock trailers. That's right, you pay what we pay. It's our way of saying thank you for choosing Wheels RV. Employee pricing on select models. RV show pricing on all new and used inventory. Hurry in, this offer is for a limited time only. Visit Wheels RV today for details and to start planning your next great adventure. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leak-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259.
Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witz Marine. On North 11th Street is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. Also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith. 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witz Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561. Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Need new roof? Shamrock Roofing and Construction can have you covered right now for as low as $139.99 with approved credit. For quality and peace of mind, one call does it all. Shamrock Roofing and Construction, call 479-319-5100. Supply issues are no issue at Shamrock Roofing and Construction. As one of America's largest roofing companies, we stocked up early and we stocked up big. We can do your job right now. And because we paid less for our material, we can share those savings with you. Call today or visit us at shamrockroofer.com.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Fly so swift, rain won't lift. He won't close the railing roads. Get your mind off winter time. You ain't going nowhere. Sail away, ride me high. Tomorrow's the day my bride's gonna come and say, whoa, no, we gonna fly down in the easy chair.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
You get a text in here from Rick asking, why don't you talk about how the Duke player instigated the contact? There are dozens of people sprinting at the Duke player. He has literally nowhere to go. Rick, you do the exact same thing if you had dozens of people sprinting at you, not caring whether or not they ran into you or not. So I can't get with that. You can't blame the person who's getting rushed. It's like blaming Cam Newton for fighting these three idiots who jumped him yesterday. What is he supposed to do? Rick, tell me, what is
Filipowski?
What is Filipowski supposed to do here? There was still a little time on the clock when these students are running. What is he going to do? So if he instigated the contact, tell me what he does then. Please, Rick. You have the answer here. I don't get it. It's blaming Duke because it's Duke. That's no other reason. It's like the people that are blaming Caitlin Clark for what happened there. They were all Ohio State fans, or they didn't like Caitlin Clark. Just accept it. This is the student's fault. These are the fans' fault. When that guy gets hurt, that is their fault. And and truthfully, if you're sprinting towards somebody like that, you're lucky he doesn't haul off and punch somebody to defend himself, because that's what he's doing at that point.
Yeah, you're going to mess around, and it's going to be the wrong player. It's going to be the wrong guy, the wrong group of guys. You catch them at the wrong moment. Like you said, you just take a defeat, and you have some knucklehead come up to you and say something or try to be funny. Yeah, then I guess then maybe it'll go. That'll be far enough.
It's victim blaming in this case. It's just and I can't get it. I don't look. I haven't been in that situation.
Couldn't you get the same intense like feeling that you're getting as far as this excitement if you have a countdown clock for 12 seconds? Like, hey, this is how it goes. It's
and everybody counts down from 12 all at once.
Yeah, and then that gives everybody enough, the officials, the other team, to get because it is a cool experience if you can do it the right way. But you can't have there's the last 5 years, and maybe it's because everybody has a cell phone, everybody has a camera. You're just seeing too much contact and interaction go the right way. It just gives you a bad taste in your mouth, like you're on the precipice. Something bad's going to happen if you don't figure it out.
And something bad did happen. I mean, the guy's hurt.
Is he hurt for like the rest of the year, or is he just like I know? Hey, yes, you shouldn't be hurt at all if you twist anything. But is it just like it was a knee bruise? Because it looked like the knee hit the knee, like it was one of those coming together where it's not fun, not good at all. But I don't think it's anything serious.
Looked to me like he needed his teammates to at least help him off the court. I don't know if he's going to miss any time or whatnot, but regardless of that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He was hurt by this, and even if he wasn't hurt by this. He would have been lucky if he wasn't. There were literally, first there were dozens, then there were hundreds, then there were thousands that were all around these people, these players who were defenseless in that case. You know, if they're the ones that are standing there, they don't have the momentum of the ones who are sprinting at them at however fast they can run. I mean, why are we blaming the victims in this case then? Why are we blaming the victims in this case? Yeah, another one that's blaming the guy that was trying to get off the court. I think you would do the exact same thing. You would do the exact same thing. I just think it's people that don't like Iowa or don't like Duke, which fine, I get it. It's okay. 877-377-6963 to call and text here on halftime. I don't really understand. It's not like a right to storm a field or storm a court, but some people act like it is. No, your right is to buy the ticket, sit in your seat, scream at boo, whatever you want to do, drink, whatever. And then after that, the right ends there. There is no right to run on the field or run on the court just because it's happened before. That's not like part of the agreement when you buy a ticket. So anyway, I think I've gone about as far as I can in this case here. It's not a matter. See, Aaron thinks it's about making everything soft. This isn't about softness. This is about a dangerous situation. What don't you understand about it being a dangerous situation with hundreds of people running at you all at once? Just try to picture that for a moment. I don't know. It kind of, for me, it's like a scene out of a war movie, you know, or Game of Thrones,
like Braveheart.
Yeah. That's what I see there. But those people have weapons. They have shields. They have
swords. Know what's coming. Yeah,
they're ready for it. At that point, yeah, you buy into war. You understand that. Playing basketball, no, that's not supposed to be part of it. Not supposed to be part of it. So don't defend it. Don't defend it. It's not what it's about. Can the basketball team generate any momentum out of this?
You know, you can only beat the teams that are in front of you, Phil, and I think every win, every little bit gives them a little confidence. It seems like for this team to win, somebody has to be hot, whether it's T-Mark doing what he did against A&M early in the year, if it's Mitchell having career highs in points and rebounds, or Khalif Battle dropping 42 and just in fuego, you know, NBA jams. He was on fire. It was fun to watch. Missouri's a bad basketball team. Let's don't get it twisted in any way, shape, or form and think Missouri's any good. They do not have the SEC athlete. They have one little guard east that is kind of like a change of pace guard, can do some things, makes it hard on you. Then they got a couple guys that are going to be wrecking whoever your rec league is in the next 10 years, the church rec league, that when they retire from Missouri and they're playing, like they got some dudes that can shoot it, but they're not they don't have any real basketball talent on that team. But hey, Arkansas, you got to play them, you got to get a victory, and that's what they did. They were able to get a victory, and I think they will. I think they'll find a way to beat Vanderbilt and have a little streak and have 3 in a row.
Well, that's what I was wondering, and it's what we got into last week. I mean, you're not playing really good basketball teams, but a win is a win, and it makes you feel better about yourself. And now you try to generate some momentum to the last 2 games. I mean, you need something to feel good about going into Kentucky on Saturday. I mean, Kentucky
smashed Alabama.
I mean, they put, what was it, 117, was it?
That's at Kentucky. You talk about athletes. You watch Kentucky's athletes play. You watch Florida's athletes play. Then you watch Arkansas play, and you go, oh yeah, we're not in that. We're not in that upper. If it's 2 halves, if you want to say 3 tiers or 2 tiers, we're not in Kentucky's tier. That's a real that's a real athletic basketball team.
Well, what if Caleb Battle goes off again?
Well, then we'll get beat by 17. Like that'd just be it'd be halfway close. It won't be too bad of a.
You can't count on it because it's only happened 3 times that somebody has scored 40 or more for Arkansas in an SEC game. So this is the thing that just doesn't compute, though. How many games has Battle been a DNP, coach's decision? And look, I don't mean this as a criticism of Muss, because there have been moments where he's just disappeared and hasn't defended well, and I think there's been reasons maybe that you think about when you're watching the game, and then other reasons which probably have nothing to do with actual on-court production or lack thereof why he hasn't played. But that's the thing that's crazy about this too. For a guy that has sat 3, 4, 5 games this year, he puts up 42.
Hey, he's the best when he's attacking and he's trying to get to the foul line. And when he's settling for threes and you're down 17 points in the first 9 minutes, you get it. And I will say this, you got to tip your hat to Battle, because I really think, and I've seen every conference game this year, but I really think in the last 3, 4, 5 games, Phil, his defense is picked up. Like he's making the right move, being in the right spot more often than not. And so I think that goes a long way with Coach Muss. I really do. I think that you look at Keith Smart, the Bobby Knight coaching tree, Ronnie Brewer up there. He's one of the best defending guards that Arkansas has ever had. There's a lot of defensive mentality up there on that team. And I think it kind of, when you have new guys come in, you're trying to figure out your role, figuring out what you can get away with, what you got to do. You can't get away with not playing defense on this Razorback team.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I mean, Vanderbilt, that's a team that you probably need to at least just score more points than them. I don't care how it happens. You feel, I mean, it's not a measure of consistency, but you got a little streak going here. This is the best basketball they've played in SEC games. So I don't know how you keep it moving forward, though, against like you're saying, Kentucky, against LSU, against Alabama. But if you got a chance maybe to get out of the first day in the SEC tournament, that Wednesday, move to Thursday. That's pretty big. I'm not at the point now where I'm ready to, even entertain the idea of Arkansas winning the SEC tournament based upon where it is that they start in the tournament, because I'd like to see them beat Vanderbilt first. And it's just been uneven performance after uneven performance. So I'm not ready to say that I'm not ready to say that they're just going to go out and beat Vanderbilt. Not quite ready to say that yet.
That gets us to 6-9, Phil. There's a 3 teams, slew of teams with 6 wins. Georgia, we're tied with Georgia now, I think. Or did we split with Georgia? Maybe so. So the tiebreaker there. But, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU. We get a big match. That game with LSU, Phil, that could be the difference to see if you're playing on Wednesday or if you're playing on Thursday for the SEC tournament.
Well, I'd rather it be Thursday. Much rather it be Thursday. Mr. Pibb asked, wasn't he the leading scorer after the first 6 games? I don't remember who led the team in scoring after the first 6, but that was about the time that, I remember going back and looking at Battle, and by that point he had more 20-point games in his career, counting time.
He was around 50-50, huh?
Yeah, about as many 20-point games as games that weren't.
Remember you saying that. Phil, the other thing that I absolutely loved, and now I didn't like his defense, he got beat on defense a couple times, and the last one a backdoor, and coach took him out, and he didn't get back in. But Brazil, I love seeing Brazil back in there, being healthy, being able to go up and down the court. He got about 4 minutes. That's what you want to see. And it was in a time, Phil, where the game was kind of going either way. It wasn't necessarily we hadn't really ran away and hid yet. Coach put Brazil in, and it kind of gave somebody a little bit of a rest, whatever you got to do, but it changed it up a little bit. And then next thing you know, we kind of ran away and hid in that second half.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see Brazil out there. Hopefully sometime soon Jalen Graham is able to get back on the court, because if they are going to make some kind of a run in Nashville,
you need both those kids.
Yeah, you definitely need both of them. You also need to get over to Crabtree RV Center in Alma, because they're paying their sales tax in full on any new remaining 2023 model in stock. That's all your sales tax paid in full. But you got to get there through tax day, or through the next about 3 weeks left in this deal. It's all remaining 2023 models. The sales tax will be paid in full. That's Crabtree RV Center at the intersection of I-49 and I-40, right beside the Cracker Barrel in Alma. One road trip at a time. CrabtreeRV.com. We'll come back. I hear C-Unit watched the movie over the weekend. Let's see what he thought of The Outsiders.
Walk-Ons is always a win. Whether it's a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner, Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and coming soon to Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Eat into the new year with Art's Barbecue on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Art's has many lighter menu options available, from grilled chicken to fish to low-carb entrees, plus delicious sides. And since Art's smokes all of their meats in-house, the ham, turkey, and other meats that top their handmade salads make these choices easy and delicious. And don't forget, all burgers are $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue, Burgers, and more. Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Honey, I found a great new house for us to buy. Look at the photos.
Yeah? Who's gonna clean that big house?
We'll have a housekeeper.
And who's gonna mow all that grass?
I will, on the weekends.
And who will get the kids to school?
We'll start a neighborhood couple.
You thought of everything, didn't you?
Yeah.
Except, who's gonna sell this house we're living in now?
Nick and Ellie Glidewell. NickandEllie.com. Equal housing opportunity, Sagely and Edwards Realtors.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Take my hand and come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine. So fine that I really want to make you mine. 6, come on and get your kicks now. You don't need the money when you look like that, do you, honey?
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Oh, let's take a phone call before we talk to C-Unit here about movies on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Brian's here. Good morning, Brian. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, I had a question for you. I know that you're the baseball guy, and I loved watching all 3 of those games this weekend. But from what I remember, it seems like every time Arkansas is ranked really high in baseball, they seem to kind of stumble at the front, so to speak. I mean, I'm glad they won the games, but do you think it was like second-week jitters or something? Because to me, in my opinion, those games could have gone either way. Arkansas jumped up 4-0 on Oregon State and barely kind of lucked out in the win. I mean, it was a great game, don't get me wrong. But it was the same thing against Oklahoma State. You kind of had the game won, and you gave it away in the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah,
saying,
Brian, you're right. I mean, they went 2-1. They very well could have been 3-0. They could have been 0-3. 3 one-run games. All of them could have gone anyway. They could have lost the Oregon State game. Certainly, could have won and probably should have won the Oklahoma State game. Almost lost the Michigan game. Look, is it a matter of being overrated or anything? No, it's the second weekend of the season, but it does show the things that have to be improved upon. I think they're a lot better in the field than they showed. Jared Sprague-Lott is better than he showed at third base. There might be some other positions that have me a little worried as far as just consistency and maybe range. I expect the hitting will improve. I think it shows that there are some jobs that aren't necessarily locked down yet. But look, I mean, disappointing to hit, no doubt. Disappointing fielding, no doubt. If you have that kind of pitching, you can win a lot of baseball games, even without stellar hitting. You got to have the fielding, but if you strike out like half the batters, your fielders don't come into play as much. Do I think this team's overrated? No, and I'm not going to pay attention to the rankings after the second week of the season. But I think it's a really talented team, and I think that there are some situations like late inning, who are you going to give the ball to close? You know, Jake Faraday did it on Friday when nobody expected that he would be given the ball in that chance. So they try him again on Saturday, and it didn't work out. So maybe there's somebody else you go to in that moment.
And it's a good learning, Phil. I had a coach, to tell us, and especially when you each level you go up, the better the competition. But you look at these NFL games, one possession games, and you look at baseball games, and you get into higher level teams. It's going to come down to, did you have an error in the 7th inning? Did you make the right play? Did you do the little things and take care of the small things to win these one-run games? And that's what I think the Hogs were able to do. They made enough baseball-winning plays to be there and have a chance.
Well, it's like a guy like Vahiva Aloy. I think he's put a lot of pressure on himself. I mean, you can't blame what happened this last weekend for him, in which he had no hits on the cold. But I think he is swinging at pitches that he's probably never swung at before in his life. And I think he's tied up mentally at the plate. He needs a good game. One good game can flip a guy around like that. It's not a matter of doesn't have the talent to do it. It's a matter of, I don't think he's faced necessarily that kind of pitching on a daily basis that he might have seen this last weekend. And I think he feels a little bit of that pressure. And it's just the second weekend. I'm going to tell you, this team will hit.
He just got here. I think you're seeing a little bit of that with this basketball team. You have just a collection of new guys. You're figuring it out. It's the first time going to class. It's the first time doing all these things up there at the university. Sometimes it just takes them a little while to get comfortable and figure it out. I mean, where'd he come from? Sacramento last year? Totally different vibe, totally different environment. He'll be all right.
877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline. Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation, about 20 minutes. Hour number 2 in a moment.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. So sign up now for Pascal's Planned Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Subiaco and Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco and Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best Of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
At Dobson Fiber, we're helping you build stronger connections by bringing the fastest internet network available to your business. Why fiber? Fiber internet provides reliable, symmetrical, blazing speeds. Without any interruptions or buffering, you can rely on Dobson for all your data needs. With Dobson Fiber as your premium internet provider, you can focus on the things that matter and the connections you build. To see if fiber is available to you, visit Dobson.net. Dobson Fiber, building stronger connections.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunshine. Our high temperatures this afternoon will be in the middle to upper 60s. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Overnight, low mid-30s north, low 40s south. Sunshine Saturday, our high in the low 60s north, upper 60s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits.
It's fast. It's exciting.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you. If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Matt Jones, man, take it to the house and the dunk.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
What's able one Razorback?
Second half, very happy.
It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
I thought Arkansas fans were pretty positive that there would be a co-pitcher of the week in the SEC because of, recent history. There's not. Hagen Smith is the SEC pitcher of the week. There is a co-freshman of the week, and Colin Fisher from Arkansas is one of them. Liam Peterson from Florida is the other. When do we get our basketball awards? You can't have anybody other than Battle, right? For 42 points. Don't you think he ought to be the SEC at least co-player of the week?
Yeah, I mean, you had a big win with Kentucky at home. I haven't checked out those stats, but Khalif Battle, the efficiency of his performance, absolutely. I would think 90% of the weeks that what he did would be good enough to win SEC Player of the Week.
Well, they haven't come out with it yet, but I'm assuming it'll be sometime soon. Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation coming up in just a moment. We'll dig heavy into baseball and basketball with him. Yeah.
You had Justin Edwards, so this would be his competition. Guess what he did? All right. See how efficient this is. All right. So maybe 29 minutes, 28 points, 10 of 10 from the field, 4 of 4 from the 3-point line, 4 of 5 from the free throw.
Uh-oh.
0 turnovers as well.
Ooh.
So that's some competition right there. You can't get much more efficient than going 10 of 10. So, yeah.
All right, how many fouls did he commit? Because Battle had no fouls on Saturday.
0.
Oh, come on. You're like getting identical performances.
0.
Who'd they play?
Bama. But he has better players. I'm vote. If I had a vote, I'd vote for Battle.
Of course you would. Of course you would. But your vote would probably be canceled out by somebody in Alabama, and it would be a co-thing anyway. We got to get you a vote, Matt. I think you deserve a vote. Charlie deserves a vote, and he's on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Hey, Charlie, I know who you'd vote for. What's up?
I definitely vote for Battle, but I will say, didn't Battle have like 6 boards too, if I'm not mistaken?
That's right.
How many rebounds?
How many rebounds did your boy get there, Matt?
For Battle?
No, for
how
the
many
other.
boards did Battle get?
Battle had 6 boards. If we're we got to parse every stat here if we're looking at these potential players of the week.
6 rebounds, yep.
Yeah, 6 rebounds too. Same.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, yeah, I'm definitely going. I mean, look, the other kid had a great game, and it was against Bama. So you got to give him credit there, no doubt. But I think the reason Battle, I want to comment on this real quick before I get to baseball. The reason he's staying on the floor now, to me, he's been playing defense better the past few weeks than he has all year. He may get beat every now and then, backdoor off the dribble, but I don't know if you've seen it too, Matt. It looks like he's getting down in the stance, and it just looks like he's competing more defensively and understanding, their schemes more than he. I mean, the game before he was 3 for 15. He stayed in the game because he was defending, because he was getting rebounds, because he was getting to the free throw line. So I'm gonna give the kid credit because he could have went in the tank, and so could Ellis and everyone else. And I'm going to get a whole team credit, man. They are battling. Obviously, we know it hadn't been the year that we would have all liked, but, I'm going to give them some credit for battling and continuing to, no pun intended there or anything, but continuing to, go out there each and every night and try to give it their best. And Muss is right. They should have won the Mississippi State game, and I really don't want to talk about it. But still, the other night, man, I felt like I was worried about you, man. We got to like the 14th inning. I was like, Phil, I could hear it in your voice. Every time the Hogs got that third out, it was like, I felt like Phil was going to fight. Phil, you was tired, man.
I was pooped. Plus, I had a cold, man. I mean, I was fighting that thing. So, yeah. But if I was tired, imagine how those guys on the field felt. Especially with every scoring opportunity that went astray. It's just like you feel. It's like 1 minute must feel like an hour. An extra hour being awake. There are way too many scoring. I mean, 15 runners left on base. Scored 1 run. Probably should have scored at least 5 or 6.
Yeah, it was frustrating. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I stopped at around the 13th inning. I was frustrated more than anything. It was. Listen, the way we've been pitching. Oh my God, unbelievable. I mean, and right now, you could argue that we may have the best staff in America. It's only 7 games in, but if we stay healthy, the sky's the limit for that group. But Phil, you were talking about what's the Loy, his name? I guess my biggest issue with him right now, and hopefully he can figure this out, is the strikeout issue. I understand that you may struggle hitting sometimes. Sometimes you hit the ball super hard and it don't go through. You don't get a hit. But my issue is, like you said, the strikeout issue. And as a team right now, let me ask you this too. Like, in practice, do they, when they're in the batting cage, do they simulate though? Are they able to simulate like those breaking balls down and away? Can they practice those, or
the thing,
you're not going to get
Charlie, about this, it's not a matter of you can't hit what these guys are throwing. It's not that they can't catch up to these fastballs. It's not that he can't hit a curveball or a slider or a changeup. It's the approach. It's what is it you're looking for? What is it you're trying to do at the plate? And can you stick to that plan? Like, he's not going up there thinking to himself, I'm just going to swing at anything that comes. That's where it's like, well, somebody's pressing when they do swing at anything that comes, because nobody's going up there thinking that's what they're going to do. You're up there thinking about, I'm going to get a certain pitch in a certain place, and if it's not there, I lay off of it until 2 strikes. He's not doing that right now. I'll bet you he did that in Sacramento because he wouldn't have felt the pressure. But I think hitting cleanup and, he was sought after by tons of schools because he's a big-time athlete, because he's a pro prospect, because he's a power-hitting shortstop. But he's striking out not because he can't catch up with a fastball, not because he can't hit a curve. It's because he's not laying off pitches outside the strike zone more than anything else. You spit at these pitches, he gets into hitter's counts, he gets fat fastballs, he crushes them. It's all. Listen to what Bubba says on the broadcast. It is more important about what you don't swing at than what you do swing at. And right now, it's too free swinging of a team in some cases.
Anyways, y'all have a good one. He'll get better. He's going to figure it out.
I think he will, too. I think he will. Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate you. Ryan in Prairie Grove also points out a thing about that Saturday game. That was the worst strike zone I've ever seen in my entire life. I'll say his name. I will. I mentioned it on Bases Loaded, the podcast we'll have coming out tomorrow, but I didn't want to say his name. The umpire on Saturday, Michael Banks, he stunk. It was the single worst strike zone I've ever seen in my life. That's why that game went 14 innings. Because, Gackle got out of the 9th with a strike call that was almost in the other batter's box. There was no way that was a strike, and I can't imagine that this guy who gets paid to call balls and strikes knew that was not a strike. I don't know why he called it. Didn't make any sense. And that was one of maybe 20, 25 pitches that looked wrong. He was awful.
Consistently bad. Hey, so you got a new kid. He comes into town. He's a stud. He could be an All-American. He's all-world. All this. When does it happen that you move him in the lineup? Bat him first. Bat him 7th.
They did that yesterday.
Oh, okay. So what'd they move him to?
Took him out of number 4. Hit him 6th.
Okay.
Still had the same result.
Yeah, but yeah,
you're not going to take him out of the lineup.
He's still your starting shortstop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, the other player who would be the backup shortstop is Jared Sprague-Lott. He's hitting, but he's struggling in the field. Aloy is not going to be taken out of the lineup anytime soon. It's just the approach for him. It is only the approach for him. And I won't assume, I will almost guarantee he will get better at that approach. He just needs to let it come to him, have the plan, stick to the plan, and don't get too big for yourself. And that's happening with a few of the players, not just him. It's just that's the guy that everybody said is going to be the best hitter on this team. I'm probably one of the guys who said it too, and it hasn't happened yet. But it's 7 games in? I think it'll work out. If he was getting blown away by fastballs or literally just could not hit the curve, if it's in the strike zone, I'd be worried. That's not what's going on here. It is strictly approach. Approach can be tweaked, approach can be changed, and you can improve on that, no doubt. Speaking of improving, the show improves in a moment because Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation stops by to talk everything going on in Razorback land, so stay with us.
Sweet 16. Eastman for the elite eight. Arkansas.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air. This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Some unbelievable things negative. I mean, you had the amazing pitching performance of Hagen Smith and really the entire Razorback staff. In Arlington, you had, Robin Heron's perfect game in softball. You had Caliph Battle scoring 42 points, second most ever by an SEC player in an SEC game. And then you had the struggles at the plate, which seemed to dominate social media. And Dave Van Orn himself, he didn't make any bones about it. He wasn't talking much about the pitching after the Michigan game. He was talking about all the hitting issues and basically said half his lineup is still unsettled because of that. He was not in a good mood, and so you had that. And then you had this Michaela Daniels thing where they're all set to honor her and everything, and I really thought it was strange, but they do it at the end of the game, and I'm talking to people and saying, what if they lose, which is what happened. But she also got ejected from the game with 2 technicals. So you have this amazing thing where this greatly honored Razorback basketball player is in her last game as a Razorback, and she's not on the floor for much of the second half, and they have to bring her out after the game.
Yeah, I hated that for her, and I hated that for the team. But let's hit on some of the positive first, and let me put it in a term of some of the negative, or people might be skeptical on the baseball team right now. As I've been around for 10 years, and I think in Dave's previous time before I started doing this, every team improves. Last year's team improved until they just gave out because there wasn't enough. They weren't healthy.
Yeah.
The hitting will improve. I expect fielding to improve. But when you have starting pitching like that, and keep in mind, these guys were on pitch counts, and they still went 6 or 7 innings. When you have starting pitching like that, you can beat anybody. It's just a matter of, you got to scratch out the right amount of runs. I still think this is as dangerous of a baseball team as any other team in the country, and it's because of the starting pitching.
Well, and that the win over Oregon State is proof of that. I mean, you had virtually no hitting in that game, and you still won it. And you won it because your starting pitcher faced 21 batters and struck out 17 of them. And then your bullpen was fabulous. You just did all this stuff, and you beat this team that honestly may end up being one of the best teams they play all year when it's all said and done. They may be in Omaha when it's all over. I mean, that team right now is batting .336. They're, I think, something like 5th in the country in home runs, 19 home runs. They got 4 or 5 guys in their starting lineup that are batting over 400. And you beat them in a low-scoring game like that. It's proof of what you said. You can win games if your pitching is good enough without a lot of offense. And I agree, generally what happens, and it happened last year, and it happened the year before, Arkansas can start off slow and then end up by the end of the year, everything is evening out. There's just a lot of focus on this Nate Thompson thing and his philosophy. And you got this divergence of opinion. Some people are saying, yeah, that may work in the major leagues, but in college, you got all these guys, and they're trying to hit home runs with runners in scoring position, and they end up overswinging, and they either strike out looking for the right pitch, or they hit over the ball or under the ball. And then you've got what I think was a good response to this that I saw on social media where a guy said, nothing wrong with the philosophy. You just have to hit home runs if that's what you're going to do, and they're not hitting home runs right now. They've got 4. And so I expect that to pick up. So, you could debate this stuff all day long, but I agree with you. I mean, it starts with pitching, and it's a lot easier to improve hitting than it is pitching. Pitching a lot of times is what it is, and honestly, with wear and tear tends to kind of go down a little bit as we get into the season. The ERAs tend to go up because these guys get tired, and that's the other thing with this staff. I mean, look how deep it is. Look at all the options Van Horn has when he goes to his bullpen. That's what's different to me about this staff. He's just got arms out the wazoo.
Yeah, there was a lot of excitement for Razorback sports this weekend, no question about it. I'm not going to get into, hey, can this basketball team win the SEC tournament? I'm going to try to enjoy Saturday for what it was. Battle, that how efficient that performance was, but just how fun that was to watch. As a fan, seeing one of your own go out there and just get hot and play like that. That was pretty cool. What were your thoughts on the basketball game this Saturday?
Well, I kept thinking Mitchell couldn't keep up what he was doing. I mean, he was largely why they were improved, and he just really was a force inside. And he didn't have a bad game, but he didn't score 20 points with 16 rebounds or whatever. And so you had to have somebody else step up. And let's face it, guys, Missouri played a hell of a game. And for a team that hasn't won a conference game, they've had some close calls. So I thought, man, it'll be just like this, that you end up losing to these guys. Because they really, for a team that hasn't won a conference game, I've seen them when they played really well. And they played well in this game. So it took an effort like that. It took somebody like that. Now the head scratcher is, okay, where have you been? We go all the way back to when we first started talking about this, guys, that we went back and forth. Are these guys really this good? And I was thinking maybe they're not, but then I think our thinking was, yeah, they are. There's just some reason some of these guys aren't performing, and he's one of them. There were times when he disappeared early in the year, just wasn't even in games.
Yeah, and I wonder too if any of that goes to the talent, Mike, of the teams we've been playing. We haven't beat a team that's going to be playing in March yet, and Vanderbilt's not going to be playing in March. Now Kentucky will be. So I guess what I want to see is let's translate this how we play against the bottom teams to some of the medium teams and some of the better teams, and let's do it on the bigger stage.
Yeah, and again, I'm skeptical. I don't think they're going to go on some crazy run where they win out or win all the way up to the championship game, because we were having a debate in the sports office of if they won out but then lost in the championship game, they still wouldn't get in because of the analytics, the numbers. And I was trying to point out that when I've seen these people on the committee talk about this, they say those numbers are definitely something you take into consideration, but it's not the only factor. And yet most people seem to feel like it is. And I'm thinking if they did something crazy like that, just Musselman and Arkansas's reputation and the tournament and all that, it'd be pretty hard to keep them out. But that in itself, I think it's more likely that they would win the SEC tournament and go on that kind of a run than it is to go on a run right now and get up right to the end. Either way, it's going to take a miracle. And as I sit here, I still say I think they got a good shot at going to the NIT, but will they go? Will they make that decision? Yeah, we're going to do this. I don't know.
That's a good question. I mean, I was thinking about, how would fans react to it or pay attention or show up? What would that look like? But, you ask a legitimate question here. I mean, would you even accept it at that point? Because that's not what anybody showed up for here.
Sure. You would accept it if you'd had years of maybe not doing anything. But when you're used to Sweet 16s and Elite 8s, and now this is your standard, that would be much harder for people to buy into.
Mm-hmm. Hey, spring football is coming up soon, man. I mean, it's kind of creeping up on us. We got our 14 practices. We got our email about it last week. So, quarterback battle, looking at where the offensive line shakes out with all these transfers that have come in. And, man, I don't know who's at linebacker. I'm not sure who's going to be on the defensive line in some cases.
Well, a quick funny story. I ran into Sam Pittman in the media room of the women's basketball game yesterday at halftime. And I just went up to him and I said, well, are you going to shut this thing down in the spring? And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, you got Petrino, you got this new offense. We didn't see much of, what Enos did. And he said, well, we let you see that stuff in the spring. And I said, I just want to make sure. I said, because I had people asking me, how come we didn't see these offensive line problems coming? And I said, man, I can't judge an offensive line by blocking drills. I got to see them in a scrimmage. And he said, no, you'll be allowed in there. You won't be able to shoot some of the scrimmages. And, of course, everybody gets to see the spring game. But it'll be here sooner than later.
Interesting to see this quarterback battle. No question about it. Hey, Mike, what about this storming the court deal? Do you have a way? Phil and I have been kind of discussing ways to kind of fix it, or I think everything is situational. What would be a way you would fix it? What
do you do? These are students mostly. How do you control them? Were you going to have like 200 cops around the edge of the thing, and then they just start pushing people back. The injury thing can happen. It's pretty rare, but it's the reason why they have the rule. My basic instinct for years is to say, just let them go ahead and do it. But then I also realize, occasionally you can get somebody hurt. So the only way to stop it honestly, is to start arresting people. If they know that they're going to round you up and throw you in jail, I think you'd be less likely to go out onto the court. But really, is that what you want to do? Because other than that, I don't know how you stop some of these kids from going out onto the floor.
Yeah, well, I mean, we get a lot of ideas that come in. Some people don't think it's a big deal at all. Some blame the athlete for getting run into or basically being attacked. Some say
he didn't. I watched that,
which I don't know if that makes sense to me. Matt's idea is to, cancel the fans for the next 3 home games. I think they do that in Europe. Matt, does it work?
That's
there?
what you do because you have the flares, the hooligans, you have all that stuff going on. You mess up, they take away the gate, the experience, the corporate thing. I mean, it takes away a lot of money. You start taking away home games.
Right. Well, just watching that particular injury, didn't you guys think it was weird the way he did that? I mean, I'm standing up straight if I'm in that situation, and I've got my hands out, and I'm moving people away from me. It looked like to me he kind of lowered his shoulder and did some strange things. I mean, he didn't react very well to what they were doing. I don't think they were coming out there to try and knock him around. They were just going everywhere.
Yeah, I see somebody that's being swarmed. I wouldn't know what to do at that moment. It's just not quite ready for it. I don't think you don't get coached to what to do in those moments.
I saw Joe Dean Davenport that year that Arkansas in '98 beat Tennessee, and I'm up on the photo deck. That whole field is covered with people. Joe Dean he's tall, and you could see his head sticking up. He looked like his head was turning around like a bird, looking all over the place. But he just kind of had his hands out, making sure he didn't get squashed. It can be a difficult situation, but man, Mike, I just don't have an answer.
You probably remember this. 1978 American League Championship Series, Chris Chambliss, home run. I think it was the Royals. I think they beat the Royals, and this was a walk-off home run to win the American League Championship. Yankee fans storming the field. And Chambliss, who was a big guy, literally running over people because they were in his way between third base and home plate. And then when he got off, he's like running into people. I think Reggie Jackson, too. I mean, it was total chaos.
I got to score first, bozos. It was just, I don't know. Have never been in and will never be in a situation like that. So I don't know. I'm the last one to give advice. It's just weird to watch it. And again, what Matt described is, man, you talk about extreme. Whoa, it would stop it. But, man.
Yeah, it would be extreme, that's for sure. Mike, we appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I think you try to think to yourself, like, what do you do in a moment like that? But until you're in that moment, I don't think you know. I really don't think you know.
And they bang these. Yeah, you're right. You kind of catch yourself. You kind of look in which way you see out of your peripheral. I mean, everybody's coming. You kind of almost don't know what almost a deer in the headlights type thing. You're like, which way do I go?
Like use the analogy of a soldier. They're trained what to do in war when all of these things are going on, and even then it breaks down, and you got to kind of figure out what it is you're going to do with these athletes. They're not trained what to do in those moments. 877-377-6963, the McClarty Daniel hotline. We'll be right back in a quick moment.
Red River is the #1 Ram Dodge Chrysler Jeep store in the state. You know why?
That's right, because we have the biggest discounts and the friendliest staff you'll ever meet.
And nobody will have more inventory than we do. And this month, we've also got 0% financing. If you're looking for a Ram 1500 Bighorn, you're not going to find a better deal. And we're going to give you 0% for 72 months. For your new Ram, visit us at redriverram.com during Ram Truck Month.
KC Insurance wants to remind everyone they are your local, trusted insurance agency for all your life and health insurance needs. They are located in the North Bell Shopping Center at 912 Highway 6265 North in Harrison. Feel free to drop by the office anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., or call 870-517-1207 to schedule your appointment now. And don't forget, they are local people helping local people.
This is halftime.
Subiaco and Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco and Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Get ready for adventure with unbeatable deals at Wheels RV now through the end of February. We're rolling out the red carpet for you with our exclusive employee pricing event on select in-stock trailers. That's right, you pay what we pay. It's our way of saying thank you for choosing Wheels RV. Employee pricing on select models. RV show pricing on all new and used inventory. Hurry in, this offer is for a limited time only. Visit Wheels RV today for details and to start planning your next great adventure. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. So sign up now for Pascal's Plan Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Z Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Let's go to man that can move it's what a girl wants. Out of the knees, out of the knees, out of the knees, out of the knees. Stay up all night talking love here in the morning. Jack will have chillin', everything will be just fine. I need some contact overseas, please come back. You get the contact right. When you're late, take your time.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
All right, I've had enough sports for a quick moment here. Even though the NFL Combine starts today, so you can have a lot of fun with that since we're getting ready for the draft and NFL free agency. Connor O'Gara, by the way, will be on in hour number 3. He's paying attention to all the draft prospects. So, Combine starting today. Looks good. We're going to get this going 26th through March the 4th. We got a few Razorbacks that are there, and what do you think about this, Matt?
Man, it's exciting time for these players that get to go to the combine. It's a very once in a lifetime experience for these players, now the coaches and GMs and stuff. It's old hat, so pretty cool. You're wishing them well. It's a chance to get around all the other players too that are at your position. You know,
what's the first day like?
Well, it's different it depends on what day you go, but you get there and it's kind of steepled, like steepled, like there's 3 position groups at a time that go there and stuff. You get there and in the first 2 days it's a lot of meetings, it's a lot of individual meetings. You're up at 6:30 in the morning and you're not done till 10:30 at night, and there's something to do at every second of the day, and so you do that for 48 hours. And then if you have any injuries, you go to the hospital and everybody wants to get their own medical report. And then on that last day, the last thing you do is you go work out. And so it's a fun experience. I guess the big thing right now is what are the Chicago Bears going to do? They got a guy in Justin Fields, 61% completion last year, but how stable is, the players around him? What do you get if you get rid of it's the number 1 overall pick? Is Caleb Williams, Drake May, or Jaden Daniels? Some think I don't think so. But it's where do you go? What do you want to do if you're Chicago? Do you want to get some picks? Do you want to get a move? Do you think Caleb Williams, is he C.J. Stroud? Nobody had C.J. Stroud being C.J. Stroud this last year when you were doing that when the draft was going on. It was Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. Where are you going to go? And CJ, I mean, everybody chose Bryce Young, and you see kind of the inexact science that it goes into it. It's hard to evaluate these quarterbacks.
Did I see that Caleb Williams has not hired an agent?
I think his pops is doing a little bit. I think Zion did some of that. I think some of these kids that already have the marketability. What is the agent really for? When you're already there, when you're at that point, if you got the right people around you. So I understand some of the top talent. The agent's supposed to work for you, when you're a 4th, 5th round pick. When you're a first rounder too, the NFL is slotted now. It's different than when I played, where if you're a first round pick, you only give your agent like 1.5%, where if you're second round pick, it's different. Third round, blah, blah, blah. So if you're going to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft, that's 3%. What's a rookie deal get? You probably getting somewhere north of 60, 80 million just from his playing contract. He's probably going to make double that off the field, being the number 1 overall pick in a quarterback. That's 10% of your. You start adding up those percentages. That's a lot of $1 million that you're able to keep.
So I mean, who's a sure thing? Because I think we've been shown quarterbacks are not a sure thing. They're just not. It's too tough of a position to evaluate. I think coming out of college. Is Marvin Harrison Jr. a sure thing? He appears to be. He looks like he should be, but I don't know if the quarterbacks are. Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. But you're not going to take him number 1, because if you find the other worldly quarterback, it's always going to be worth the number 1 overall pick. So.
No, that's right. And where was T. Higgins? He was a guy that just got the franchise tag. For Cincinnati, right? And so where was he drafted? Let's see where this kid was drafted. He was the 33rd overall pick, and he's one of the best receivers in the game. Because you asked who do I think is somebody who's gonna. I think that kid from Washington. I think Rome. That kid when
Rome, yeah.
When I see him play now, I think him and Harrison are a little different type receivers. I don't think Harrison's not going to make it. I think Harrison's going to be pretty good as well. But I like that kid from Washington. I think he's a bona fide star.
It's a story here. Thing that the number one storyline coming out of the draft is Jaden Daniels' weigh-in.
Hey, some people like the under 6 foot or under 6'1" quarterback that's light in the britches. That's not my thing. There's no way.
They've got him listed though at 6'4". I didn't realize he's that tall.
Yeah, you'll have to see. I guess I don't know. I think he has a lot of improvement to do before he's leading an NFL roster. No question about it.
Hmm. Well, again, we'll get into a lot of the combine stuff and the NFL draft with Connor O'Gara coming up in a bit. What are you looking for if you're early in the draft here? You're looking for otherworldly quarterback, wide receiver, edge rusher.
You're looking for a starter. If you're a first round pick, you're looking for a guy that can start. Not necessarily like week 1, but year 1. Yes, like you're looking for a guy that can come in. That's kind of your first and really your top. Phil, I in Jacksonville for 4 years. The turnover is not as big as you think, man. There's only 8-9 positions that are open each year. A lot of those 53-man roster, 46 of those guys are coming back. That's the same thing on every one of these NFL. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of turnover like you're seeing in these college rosters where you got 35 new guys coming in each year. So you're trying to you're trying to pick out some guys and you're trying to project a little bit. It's hard evaluating talent.
When you're there and you're in that position group, because everybody reports by position group. Yesterday, it was defensive linemen and linebackers that were early arrivals. Today, it's defensive backs and tight ends. The running backs, quarterbacks, and wideouts start registering tomorrow, and then it's the offensive linemen and the special teamers on Wednesday. So you're spending a lot of time within these position groups. They're your competition. They are your competition for slots in the draft. Is that what it's viewed at while you're there, or is this sort of like, is there a camaraderie around each of these positions because we're all together and we're all kind of showing we can do together? Because I'd view it as competition.
It is definitely competition, but you're not pulling against any other player. It's good to see. I got to see Aaron Rodgers throw, right there. Got to see Alex Smith throw. There was a kid from Arizona State named Andrew Walter that I thought was going to be a little, you get to see other kids go in. I think Oakland took him somewhere in the second or third round. And then you get to see some of the other guys you played against, Carlos Rogers out there at cornerback. You get to see him and what he can do. So it's good to kind of get around and you get a feel and say, oh, well, I think I'm better than that guy. Oh, that guy's pretty good. I better step my game up. Did you see him run that route? Ooh, that's how I want to do that. You kind of get a look to see because everybody's been coached, and you get it too when you go train. The coolest thing was going to train for the combine. Kids from Nebraska, kids from Penn State, kids from wherever. You got 17, 19, 20 guys. And you're kind of different positions, and you're all the stories, all the hanging out, all that was one of the coolest parts. Yeah.
See where I guess Caleb Williams won't throw at the combine. Marvin Harrison won't go through any of the testing. So you don't have to do everything there. I guess they've seen everything you need to know about Harrison's speed or leaping ability or anything like that. And as far as Williams is concerned, he can throw the hell out of the ball. So what is the point of that? I guess in some cases it's the one-on-one face-to-face meetings.
That's what you want to do. You sit in a room. You meet with 17 different teams in 2 days. At least I did.
Have to be dizzy.
I'm sure exactly right. You're trying to remember everybody's name and shaking hands and doing all that. It's definitely a trip.
At least it happens at one central location. Do you imagine if we turned college football recruiting into one central location like the combine is? Be kind of wild. I'm sure going through recruiting makes you feel a little bit dizzy when you get, dozens of letters showing up all at once, and you get dozens of college coaches texting you and everything. You gotta have those notifications turned off. So yeah, one central location is a nice way to do it. 877-377-6963 calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Want to enjoy a great happy hour? No one does happy hour better than Twin Peaks. Doesn't matter what your preference is. They've got everything that you are looking for a great happy hour. Cocktails, an extensive bourbon category, top shelf spirits, and cocktails served over giant ice balls, plus, of course, local craft beers, handcrafted whiskey cocktails, and those beers are coming in at 29 degrees. Made from scratch fan favorites, sports on TV blasting from every angle at Twin Peaks and Rogers, or online, where you can get it to go at twinpeaksrestaurant.com. More TVs, bigger screens, and scenic views. More to watch at Twin Peaks. Hour number 2 of Halftime concludes in just a moment. Stay with us.
At A&P Auto Sales, we take pride in the way we do business. We focus 100% on our customers and believe car buying should be a fun, hassle-free experience. We will work with your budget and offer a dependable car at a price you can afford. Bank financing is available with approved credit, or cash is always accepted. Hop on over to 1202 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren and choose from a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Contact us today at 353-1246 or check us out online at apautosales.net. Find your next car at A&P Auto Sales in Van Buren.
Spring is just around the corner, and Jelco Outdoors is ready with all of your spring fishing gear. Crappie, bass, catfish, Jelco has a great selection of rods, reels, and baits to help you fill that stringer. Spring turkey supplies are rolling in daily, and the firearms department is stocked up with ammo for outdoor shooting. Spring is almost here, so get outdoors and enjoy the spring season. Stop by Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, for all your outdoor gear. Think spring, think Jelco Outdoors.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
See you walking up the dark.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
All right, C Unit. The month of Swayze concluded with The Outsiders. I know you enjoyed all the other Swayze. I don't think we've steered you in the wrong direction yet as far as Beatles, Tarantino movies, Swayze movies too. So you knew you were going to like The Outsiders. What did you think?
I did like it. It was a lot of familiar faces in that movie, a lot of big time actors, and I just liked the whole, the social. They call them the socias versus the greasers. It kind of took me back to my childhood, remembering reading the book, and then that fight scene was pretty awesome.
No kidding.
That was awesome.
Really sad too. I mean, there's some real sad moments there. When Daniel LaRusso, well, you don't need me to get into it, but we know his name, but he's really Daniel LaRusso. Let's be honest about this. You have seen Karate Kid, right?
Yes, I knew I had seen a movie that he was in, and it's Karate
Well, there are two others that you're gonna have to see too. Have you seen Karate Kid 2 and 3? Sounds like a no.
I think I've just seen one.
I don't think we can't do a Daniel LaRusso month. I don't think there are enough movies. There'd be My Cousin Vinny. I know there are other movies, but it's not like I've watched all of his movies. Cobra Kai is good enough to watch, though. I did enjoy Cobra Kai. That was fun.
Sweep the leg.
Yes. Sweep the leg and get him a body bag.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, you want to rank your Swayze movies here? And you can even throw the ones that you did extra credit for. Donnie Darko, Dirty Dancing. By the way, you notice the theme here with Swayze. He always was viewed as like a big brother character, like the older guy, the leader of the pack.
Yes. Yeah. He more so in this movie. He was like you said, the leader of the pack. It almost felt like he was the one that had the most sense, when it came to life. It just seemed like he was in control. But yeah, The Outsiders, it's hard to beat, man. What was the one? I can't remember. I've lost
too many homework assignments to remember all of them, right?
Yeah,
I couldn't stop thinking about Red Dawn yesterday.
That's the one.
I'm watching the Wolverines play baseball yesterday. I couldn't stop thinking. I wanted to scream at the top of my lungs, but I couldn't do it. I was doing a Razorback broadcast.
Red Dawn was pretty good.
Yeah, not a movie that needed to be remade either. Matt, what was the one you told me? Is there some remake coming out?
I saw because we had talked a little bit about American Psycho, and I'd seen so many great actors in that one. William Dafoe, Arkansas's own Josh Lucas. They were going to remake American. That's all they're doing these days, right? It's just remake something that's been made 20 years ago, and
it's like that Bare Naked Lady song. Everything old is new again.
It's wild out there.
It is. We don't need to be remaking that movie.
Never thought that comedic genius of a movie, American Psycho, would ever need a part 2. But maybe.
Please, let's never remake Caddyshack.
They almost did. Didn't Mila Kunis do American Psycho 2 version or something? I remember I saw like the first 37 minutes of it and was like, not for me.
Not the thing.
Yeah.
Well, what's next up for C Unit, man? I mean, we are now at the end of Patrick Swayze month. March starts on the 1st, on Friday, man. I mean, we gotta figure out what it is that C Unit's going to waste his time on weekends now. Is it music? Is it movies? No, we don't read books anymore, so it wouldn't be that. Which direction we go? We've got a text in here. Jesse in Springdale thinks you need Zeppelin and Pink Floyd. Do you know who Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd are?
Yes.
Good answer. Even if you didn't know who they are, you have to say yes. Do you know all of their albums?
I know one. Pink isn't, or no.
Which one's Pink?
No, there is a Pink album called Pink, right? No, shoot.
You don't know Pink Floyd. and I don't think you know Led Zeppelin very well. So I think we have a direction to go for this next month. Though, Matt, like I need your clearance here. I need your clearance.
Zeppelin's tough. You know, the first time I bought the first 5-6 albums, you know, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, Houses of the Holy, Physical Graffiti. I bought those and dove into them a little bit.
Isn't there a late one called Presence?
Well,
I think I know one song from Pink Floyd. It's the We Don't Need No Education. Isn't that from him? Or is that another?
From him.
Another brick in the wall?
Yeah, another brick in the wall, yeah.
We have a lot to teach C-Unit here about great rock and roll. We have a lot. I think we have a theme for March.
We're going to have spring break coming up, too. He's going to have a week off. I feel like he's kind of getting he might need a spring break.
A week off?
He might need a spring break
week. Use spring break for extra credit. That's going to be like summer session for him, man. He's going to be listening to every single Led Zeppelin album that week.
We're trying to make it to Omaha. We don't have to be the best right now.
C-Unit. The only thing I can say about this
I'm
next
a player's
month for
coach, C-Unit. I got your back, man.
Yeah. The best thing to tell you for this next month is you're welcome. Stay with halftime.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of light.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Did Cupid shoot you with a crossbow of drama instead of an arrow of true love? Don't let that little cherub ruin the rest of your life. Call Mock Legal Solutions today to stop the bleeding. Schedule a free consultation and ask about our special pricing for new divorce filings in February. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunshine. Our high temperatures this afternoon will be in the middle to upper 60s. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Overnight, low mid-30s north, low 40s south. Sunshine Saturday, our high in the low 60s north, upper 60s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. From the Busch Light Studios, this is ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Are you sure this is legal? I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that would respect you.
If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Jones may take it to the house. And the dunk.
Coach said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
What's able one Razorback?
Second half, very happy.
It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's go to the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
And we get into our third hour halftime here on ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com. Matt Jones in studio. I'm Phil Elson. And C-Unit Kristen Johnson, who doesn't know anything about Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd, with us as well. Don't worry. You'll get to it. You will definitely get to it. Yeah, you were right, Matt. T. Higgins has had the franchise tag placed on him by the Bengals. It's always a way so he gets a 1-year deal worth $21.9 million.
Fully guaranteed if they tag you, but he wants somewhere about 60 guaranteed over 4 years,
Yeah.
So you never know.
Well, I guess that's one way to. Is there ever any player that is like, yeah, cool, it's fully guaranteed, I'm good with that? And it's $21 million guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. It really is. But you're looking at your counterparts. You're looking at all the other receivers. So you're saying, where is T. Higgins in the equation? Is he the best receiver on that team? Do you think Jamar Chase is better than him? Probably. Do you think that they work together? That if you have one of them, the other one's better. That they're obviously going to be better if they're both out there. And you got Joe Burrow. So where does he rank? How much money do you want to tie up with them? Joe Burrow is going to be taking a lot of that money.
Yeah, that's for sure. I saw where, this lawsuit by the Virginia and Tennessee attorneys general against the NCAA. The injunction has been issued, and now the NIL rules do not apply right now nationwide. There can be no enforcement of whatever the rules about NIL were or are. And if there's an injunction about this now, I can't see them ever being able to enforce this. I guess maybe there's a way that you can try to enforce it focusing on boosters, I guess, and it's not necessarily like boosters and NIL collectives. Look, I mean, they're the same thing, but I guess in the NCAA's eyes, not really. It's just there's one more thing that the NCAA has no jurisdiction over. Now, think of what's happened in the last. It's been 4 months. In December, the injunction was granted and the NCAA folded on the one-time transfer rule. Now you can transfer however many times you want. That happened in December. That's not changing. And now the NIL rules, which it feels like have been arbitrarily enforced, and I'm not sure if people really even know what the rules are. I don't know if I even know what the rules are. Well, now those rules aren't enforceable any longer. So the closer you get to the end of this game, it's like the NCAA literally only exists now to make rules for the games and to provide, championship tournaments. And that's it. Some sort of structure to decide who is the national champion at divisions 1, 2, and 3. Otherwise, all of these other, there's just 2 more things that have been stripped away from the NCAA, and whether the value of that is good or not, it's a fact. They cannot enforce these things. So it's just one more. It's like one more thing that they have nothing to worry about as far as those things are concerned. It just kind of chops off the authority and just another piece of the NCAA that doesn't even exist anymore.
They're definitely making it up as they go. When are we going to get some transparency? That's what I want. That's what I want to know. When do we get to see, not necessarily behind the curtain, but how is this money being divided up? How much money do you have? Who are you paying this money? Because you hear the coach come out. What the coach come out from Ohio State and say, yeah, you want a starting quarterback, it costs $1.5 million. That's just what the going rate is for a starting quarterback at a big time program. And I kind of think, yeah, probably so. I bet it is, but I bet it's more than that. You know, I bet you're looking around, you get the right guy in there. It costs a lot of money to get the right guy in there. How much do you think Junkins, like a running back, they're giving him $1 million
at least? Yes.
Yeah.
If you're paying the quarterback $1.5 million to come in,
best running back in the. I think college football, the running back. I think it matters in pro football too, Phil. But just as much, I think it's more valuable here in college football having a good running back than it is anywhere.
Why? Why do you think that?
Because you take less off the quarterback. There's more on there. You got the best athlete. A lot of times your best athlete is your running back. A lot of times now you're getting stuff on the outside. But when you can run the ball and get yourself into second and short, the defense has. As a quarterback, Phil, as a college quarterback, all you want is man coverage. I know exactly what to do against man coverage. If you can't run the ball, you sit back, you get zone blitz. You see what you saw that happen in the NFL playoffs this year with some young quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson got blitzed, didn't know what to do. It's hard. You finally, once you get over the step and you can beat the blitz as a quarterback, man, that's when it becomes tough to stop.
I also think like with each of these injunctions that's granted, you just have to, in my eyes, I keep realizing that the structure that college sports operated under for over a century was sort of kind of against the American way, really. I mean, when you look at it, because these are federal courts that are deciding that these things are not enforceable. No, the transfer rule's not enforceable because it restricts, somebody's essentially the ability to make money now. And you're restricting their ability to make money and not even allowing them to make money. And then the rules that are thrown into that are so opaque, and it's just the way college sports was run, even if it worked, and it did work because there was some kind of stability, it doesn't mean that it was done in a way that fit into the way that business is supposed to be run in this country. The only way that you're able to do that is if Congress grants antitrust, and they've never done that. And that's what Charlie Baker is still going after. If you get the antitrust exemption, well, you can set the rules as you see. That's what's happened in Major League Baseball for all these years. And then Baker's like, what is it? I saw in Fortune magazine, he's saying, well, if you end up and you're getting to this point, I think you are getting to this point. If you're getting to the point where the athletes are employees and they're getting paid directly from the school, he's threatening. I don't know if you say threatening, but it's the Pollyanna sort of sky is falling thing, that 95% of student athletes won't exist anymore. There's not money for them. If you have to pay them because they're employees, there's only so many that you can pay. And I do think that athletic departments in some small ways are looking to where they can scrape some savings together, whether it's in travel or per diems or whatever. I think they're looking for some sort of savings. And look, this also flies in the face of the idea that what was the dollar figure that SEC teams get from the league right now? Was it $51 million? But I feel like those things are already, that's already earmarked for projects, for salaries, for just operating expenses and everything. Is that money going to go right to the players? Well, eventually it's going to have to. But before that, they're going to scrape as much savings as they can from how they're already operating, because I think they can see the writings on the wall already.
Does a team like UCLA drop football? That's the next question I have is it viable? Are they still making money because it's a basketball school? And not only UCLA, Phil, but other schools, that you start looking at UConn. Is there a reason UConn, could they be, you start talking about division. Could you see schools being like, hey, we're going to be a basketball school only. We can make this run because there are some profitable basketball scenarios.
Well, that would have to cut back dramatically on probably the entire size of the athletic department, just because even in places like UCLA and UConn, look, I mean, is UConn a football independent now? I think they are. So they're not getting money necessarily from like a league. UCLA is, though. I mean, well, that's the only reason they made the move to the Big Ten. That athletic program is in such financial disarray that might have been the only way that UCLA Bruins athletics could have survived by moving to the Big Ten for football purposes.
They lost their head coach to an OC position.
in the same league. In the same league. Yeah, I mean, what's going to happen in another 2 months? There's still other lawsuits out there. There'll be more injunctions sent in here, and sooner or later it turns into chaos. It already is chaos, quite honestly. Hey, don't forget about the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue getting out on the lake anytime soon. If you're looking for the Trophy Brown or on the Mighty White or a coldwater bass, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue is going to help you catch him with that famous rolling action. When you fish it extremely slow or work it fast and heavy current, the Rogue suspends, and it's going to be in that strike zone longer, and you will catch more fish. That's the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue at Lurnet.com and tackle stores all over the place. Connor O'Gara stopping by from Saturday Down South in just a moment on Halftime.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community.
Cousins for the first time, got to meet her grandpa for the first time. It was a really, really nice week and a half away from the grind of college sports.
That's a big time, man. That's a really big time. Good for you. Yeah, those are huge moments. But of course, football's always in the back of your head, I'm sure, and the combine. I wouldn't say it starts today, but you get people kind of reporting in certain position groups. And I know that's something that, you'll be paying heavy attention to because there is always a heavy bent to the SEC when it comes to the NFL draft.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not the biggest combine guy in the world, and I've kind of argued over the past few years, like that some of the things that we talk about with draft evaluation, with how much more access we have to all 22s, just to college football teams in general on a given Saturday with ESPN Plus, like all those different things. I would argue that the combine has less significance now, but I think across the SEC there are a lot of really, really interesting storylines that I find myself watching for. And, even if you want to just look at the quarterbacks with Spencer Rattler, somebody that's been talked about so much over the course of his career, really even since high school with the Netflix show. I think he's got a fascinating weekend ahead after he was the MVP of the Shrine Bowl. Jaden Daniels, he's not going to do that much, I don't think, in Indy. I think I can't remember who reported that. I think it was Ian Rappaport who reported that he's going to be pretty limited in what he does, which makes a lot of sense after the year that he had winning the Heisman Trophy. But does he become this guy that is considered the number 2 quarterback, the number 2 player that's going to come off the board in the draft? And then, you could find other storylines that are really interesting. Somebody like Mason Smith, who I came into this year wondering if the LSU defensive tackle was going to be this year's version of Jalen Carter, and he just did not have the year that anybody thought he would. And so he's got all these eyes on him. There's just a lot. I mean, there's a lot on the table when you've got 89 guys from a conference that are coming into the combine.
Yeah, I was looking at some things like a guy like Sam Hartman, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, kind of the second tier of quarterbacks right there. Connor, who do you have in that second tier of quarterbacks?
Yeah, man, it's interesting because I think the first tier is, in this specific order, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. And I think that second tier is a lot more up for grabs than people realize. Like, I would have Penix at 4, and then 5, I would actually have Rattler. I think Rattler has improved that much. If you've watched what he's done with his footwork and the improvement with a familiar name for Arkansas fans, Dowell Loggins, I thought they did a really good job with him this past year in Columbia, and you saw that improvement even if you didn't see it in the record. And then I would actually go down to Bo Nix at 6, which might not be a popular take. I know he's still showing up in some of these first-round mocks. And then J.J. McCarthy at 7. But I think those are the 7 guys that I would look at and say they could become franchise quarterbacks. Everybody else, the Michael Pratts, the Jordan Travises, I mean, and Joe Milton, some will include him as well just because of the skill set. Anybody else, I'd be surprised if they became franchise quarterbacks. They still can, obviously, but those are the 7 that I kind of look at and say they have the best path to be able to do that. And I know that second tier, I don't know that there is going to be a consensus opinion after this weekend or even leading up to the NFL draft.
And I guess kind of too, the question is, does it hurt some of these kids, that Chris Winkie effect with this NIL, this COVID year, like your Bo Nix and Sam Hartman and Michael Penix, to your J.J. McCartney, a guy that's coming out early? What do you weigh any bit of that in this quarterback process?
Yeah, like, I mean, there just are. I think we get too caught up in that, and hopefully we've gotten away from that a little bit. I mean, Joe Burrow was old when he came into the league by typical quarterback standards, and we've seen that there are a lot of cases where a guy that's was able to get those reps at the college level really blossomed into a different sort of prospect. I mean, all three guys that were in New York for the Heisman Trophy, they could all be coming off the board in the first 2 rounds of the draft, and they've done so many things to help themselves as guys who were, 5-year starters. I mean, that's just a crazy thing to kind of think about. And somebody like J.J. McCarthy, look, J.J. McCarthy had a lot of reps at Michigan, which is good, but at the same time, he only threw, I think it was 123 more passes than like Dwayne Haskins. And so he wasn't relied on in the same sort of way, and I would have more questions about a guy like him. As much as we talk about him as a winner, I think that there are a lot of questions about somebody that did not necessarily get that, that extra year, and the guys who exhausted their eligibility put a lot of good film out there, and I think that's why it's kind of allowed them to rise to the top of these draft boards.
What do you make of Brock Bowers for this draft? You got to have a tight end now. You always have to have a tight end, but you got to have a playmaking tight end if you're going to go far in the NFL. And just look at the two that were in the Super Bowl this last year. Where do you think Bowers may end up?
It's depressing looking at these mock drafts and seeing that there are people who believe he's going to fall outside of the top 10. And if he falls outside of the top 10, that's on all of those teams who make that decision. Because for my money, he's the best tight end in the history of college football. I don't think there's much of a debate if you look at what he did start to finish as a guy who was, as a true freshman, the best offensive player on a team that won a national championship. To do that as a tight end is it's absurd. And I think that people are looking at these photos of him standing next to Gronk at the Super Bowl that came out. And they're like, oh, he's physically not at Gronk's level. Yeah, he's 25 pounds lighter. He also is every bit as nasty as a run blocker. The ability to make big time catches. I mean, it's second to none. Like, look at the guy, what he did in the postseason alone. I mean, it's insane to think that he could be falling, and as a result of, oh, well, look at Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts went into a terrible situation with a coach who did not want to play those guys that they drafted in the top 10 at skill positions, Arthur Smith. And Kyle Pitts is a very different player than Brock Bowers. So, like, I love Brock Bowers. If my Bears took him in the back end of the top 10, I would be absolutely ecstatic. And I think that anybody that has him outside of the top 10, it just has me scratching my head.
I'm with you. His thing would be his health. If he's healthy, I think he's the first tight end off the board. No question, a top 10. Hey, Connor, what's the deepest position? What's a value position? Because some years it's a receiver, some year it's the O-line. What's the deepest position in this year's draft?
I think receiver feels like it. And maybe there's a case to be made for quarterback for those 7 guys that I talked about that could be coming off the board in the first 2 rounds even. It never works out like that, but they're at least kind of being valued like that, it seems. But receiver, man, like, I'm looking at this, at the way that this is setting up with having a generational prospect in Marvin Harrison Jr., and not very far behind him, if at all, is Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze. But then you kind of get a little bit later and you see like guys like Xavier Legette, who I think in a normal year, Xavier Legette is rising higher into that first round conversation after the year that he had at South Carolina. And you're going to see a lot of these guys, a Roman Wilson, who did tremendous things at Michigan as the primary target for J.J. McCarthy and had an awesome week at the Senior Bowl. Like guys like that are going to rise into that first round conversation. Like if we end up having 6 or 7 guys taken off the board at the receiver position in round 1, I don't think it would necessarily be a stunner. I think that's the position where there's just a tremendous amount of depth, even with guys that I didn't mention there.
Is it Michigan that's going to have the most players drafted? I mean, that was the thought going into the season. Is that what you see happening, at least as far as, schools? Who has the most drafted?
Yeah, I think they will. I think the question is going to be if they're going to set the record. Harbaugh was talking about that forever. That he's like, yeah, I'm going to have the most guys drafted ever from any specific program. I think the record is 15, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, that's what Georgia did in the 2022 draft, and then all they did was, just go 15-0, win a national championship, 65-7. Michigan in a little bit of a different territory when it comes to replacing that talent. But yeah, Michigan looks like the team that's going to have the most. What's interesting, and nobody's really talking about this, is this the year that the SEC's draft streak comes to an end? There were 90 guys from the Big Ten who are going to the Combine, 89 from the SEC. Take that for what it is. But when you factor in the Michigan thing, Ohio State, even though they have a lot of guys coming back, they're still going to have a bunch of guys going to the NFL draft, of course. And then you can kind of look up and down and go, this could actually go down to the wire, and maybe the SEC is finally going to relinquish that title for the first time in what would be, 18 years? I mean, that could be a storyline that we talk about, and a rare opportunity for the SEC to not have that post-draft flex.
So I don't think we've spoken to you since the reports of the college football playoff thinking about expanding after this contract is up. So once they start talking about it, it makes me feel like it's going to happen and it feels inevitable. But is this about more access for other leagues, or is this about more access for the big two leagues when they expand? Because it's coming.
No, it's about more money for the pay-for-play era. It's about getting ahead of that and trying to make sure that you have a sweetened contract without necessarily drastically changing the sport. And these conferences want a bigger cut, and they're going to get a massive cut. And you can argue for, if you're, Greg Sankey or Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner, hey, we deserve more bids. We've got more teams. We've shown that we can do this, and this year over year. We deserve 4 auto bids. And if you're the Big 12 or the ACC, if you're being told, hey, you guys are going to get 2 teams in, I think a lot of them would look at that and go, that's a win. That's a positive. But it's still, it is weird, the timing of it, that it came out. There's expansion that's coming. We know that. I mean, college basketball has 68 teams. They're talking about going to 96. That's considered to be the best sporting event in the world, best sporting event in America. World Cup probably has a different say about that. But expansion was always going to happen. The timing of it and it happening so soon, I think, caught a lot of people off guard. But get ready for it, because it's coming. We're definitely not going to stick at 12 for the remainder of our lifetime in college football.
Wild. Well, I think you're right about that. Connor, we'll leave it there. Thanks for coming on. It's always good to talk to you. Have fun with the kid and paying attention a little bit to the Combine, and we'll revisit in a couple weeks, okay?
Gentlemen, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Connor.
Then we will be awfully close to the NCAA basketball tournament. It is coming up. It is coming up. Also coming up on halftime is the home stretch. You can be a part of it. Get on that McClarty Daniel hotline. Calls or texts 877-377-6963. A lot of questions coming in about the baseball team. So if you got any more of those, send them in. Might have some, I don't know about answers, but at least ideas. Basketball as well. Tomorrow, can you win another game? Can you get some momentum going into Saturday at Rupp? Stay with us. Halftime back in just a moment.
Since 1978, Burton Pools and Spas has built over 12,000 pools and installed more than 8,000 hot tubs, making the Burton family more than 20,000 members strong. Join the Burton family and swim this summer during the Burton Pools and Spas preseason pool sale. Save up to $12,000 on select in-ground pools. Stay healthy, have fun, and spend more time together with a pool from Burton Pools and Spas. At Burton, we do more than build pools. We build long-term relationships.
Red River is the #1 Ram Dodge Chrysler Jeep store in the state. You know why?
That's right, because we have the biggest discounts and the friendliest staff you'll ever meet.
And nobody will have more inventory than we do. And this month, we've also got 0% financing. If you're looking for a Ram 1500 Bighorn, you're not going to find a better deal. And we're going to give you 0% for 72 months. For your new Ram, visit us at redriverram.com during Ram Truck Month.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is already chipping away at 2024. If you have never tried Joe's Chips and Salsa, you're missing a Tex-Mex treat. House-made salsa, made daily with fresh veggies, even carrots. Try their sizzling fajita skillets, crunchy tacos, and their enchiladas with a homemade sauce is the best around. Plus a full bar and TVs all around the restaurant. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps in Fort Smith.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Oh, man. You know, Matt, I didn't really watch much sports outside of the games that I was at in Arlington. I did watch Arkansas, Mizzou. Couldn't watch the women's game yesterday because that was right in the middle of Arkansas, Michigan. By the way, in this weekend at Globe Life, Arkansas 2-1, Oregon State 2-1, Oklahoma State 2-1. Thanks for coming, Michigan, 0-3. I wasn't really impressed with Michigan. What'd you watch over the weekend? Because I watched a lot of baseball, a little bit of basketball. Tried to sleep. Wasn't easy.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of that Phoenix LA game. Caught some of that Boston New York Knicks game. Boston's big three with Kristaps Porzingis being like that third guy. That's the role I see. I don't know that Brazil's is as tall as Kristaps, but that's how I see Brazil's going to. That's his projection. That's what he could be. You got Tatum and Brown. Tatum's just he's a league MVP type of guy. Like, he really is shortlist top 5 best player in the basketball in the game right now. No question about it. And then Brown's your Robin that, when you start trying to guard Tatum and you don't put as much interest or discipline with Brown, he's going to beat your number 2 guy every time. And then Kristaps gets to be that 3. Milwaukee, maybe they figured something out. You got to believe in talent eventually, and they got a lot of talent. But Boston, to me, out of the East, I think that's where I would go.
How much soccer did you get your eyes on over the weekend? Because there's always going to be a couple.
Saw a little bit of soccer, no question about it. The big one, the trophy match, the League Cup. Liverpool won their 10th League Cup in the history of Liverpool franchise. They were at 9. It was a weird game, a lot of injuries before the game. As far as the Liverpool not really putting all your stars out there, a lot of good players. I mean, Virgil van Dijk's just as good as any of them. He'd be like Troy Polamalu. And he had a header in the 118th minute. They won 1-0. So it was 120 minutes of soccer and 0-0. So probably, most people wouldn't have liked the match.
Yeah, but you would have been on the edge of your seat or your couch or whatever you watch it on.
It was close to going to PKs. It was close. Some young talent out there. I think Liverpool had 5 guys in the teens that played on the field or were on the bench at least. So a lot of teenagers there, a lot of young guys. And then Chelsea, they're American owner with Chelsea, so there you got and then Fenway Sports Group owns Liverpool, so there's a lot of Americana going on over there.
I guess I should be rooting for Liverpool too, because Fenway Sports Group now bought the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is my hockey team. Even I haven't watched them so long, but that's the team I would be rooting for. But do we root for owners? Are you rooting for ownership?
The Denver Broncos with the Waltons?
Right.
Yeah.
Are we going to root for Denver? Look, you want to root for Walmart. Do the Waltons really provide all that much to Razorback Athletics? I'm not sure about that. So I don't know if I'd go in that direction. It's tough to root for ownership. You're rooting for a team. You're rooting for laundry. You're rooting for a logo. You're rooting for the city. You are. In a lot of cases, you're rooting for your state. In this case, being an Arkansas fan, and there's a point of pride for your team, but you're not going to root for the ownership of this and that. Like, what's the owner of the Tampa Bay Bucks? Don't they? I forget what team they own.
Glazers?
The Glazers, that's right.
Man United.
Do you think Bucks fans are really rooting for Man United and vice versa because of the owner?
Shad Khan, the owner of Jacksonville Jaguar, he owns Fulham. They're a London squad that's in the Premier League, yeah.
I did meet one of your, was he a former basketball teammate of yours, Craig Gentry?
Craig was a guy that we grew up in the same neighborhood there a little bit and had in past. I think he was 2 grades younger than me growing up, so we definitely played a little basketball, always knew of each other. He went to the private school growing up, and yeah, but just he was a tremendous athlete, no question.
Went to UAFS, then Arkansas, and put together a nice 9-10 year major league career. That's a guy, and we had him on the broadcast for an inning, and he was terrific. That's a guy that the only way he was going to be able to stay in the big leagues was by playing fundamental baseball, running the bases well, making contact when you need it. He wasn't like a full-time starter throughout his career. He was a guy that would come off the bench, defensive replacement, so you better make every play out there, and you got to have a lot of range. Pinch runner, steal a base, incredibly fast. He told me the year after he retired, he didn't do anything, and it was miserable for him. He didn't like it at all. So now he's in financial lending. So Oklahoma, that was the Oklahoma State game, and they had a player each or an alum each throw out the first pitch from each of those schools. Gentry for Arkansas, because he's got the Texas Rangers connection, and he lives in Dallas now. And Mickey Tettleton came out to throw out the first pitch for Oklahoma State. I didn't even remember that Tettleton played for Oklahoma State. But Mickey Tettleton probably had, Matt, one of the most imitated batting stances of the 1990s. He was a switch-hitting catcher. I remember him with Detroit and with Baltimore. He might have played for a couple of other teams too. But he had that stance. He would stand up. I mean, he didn't have you're told you're supposed to bend your knee. He didn't bend his knee. And he would stand up tall, whether he was right-handed or left-handed, and he would hold that bat. You remember how Eric Davis would just sort of wiggle the bat around just like it was a toothpick? Tettleton would lay it back like it was flat, parallel with the ground. I'd never seen anybody do that before. But he got into the right hitting position, and he hit it 8 million miles. So that was kind of neat to see him.
Griffey kind of had late in his career, I don't know if it was his back, but he kind of stood straight up the later his career got.
Yeah, but Griffey had that butt, so nothing was straight.
That's his swing was, yeah.
Griffey had the power hitter's butt that looked like it should have been on like a linebacker or a defensive lineman. It's just, where did the power come from with Junior? It came from the backside. And yeah, that beautiful swing. Thinking of like another imitated stance, Rod Carew. I never really imitated Carew, but anybody that was a kid when he played, I think he was known as the man of 1,000 stances because he would change his stance like every single chance he would get to. But yeah, it's kind of. I didn't know it was Tettleton out there, but when Gentry sat down, who's that guy? It was like, there was Mickey Tettleton. You mean that Mickey Tettleton, the guy with like 30 home runs while striking out 190 times in a season? And it felt weird then. Now everybody's doing it. Or at least it seems like everybody's doing it. Pinto says he roots for the Cowboys strictly because of Jerry Jones. Well, I think there's probably a lot of people that root against the Cowboys for the same reason. And there are Cowboys fans that root for the Cowboys in spite of Jerry Jones in a lot of cases. You know, you can actually dislike the ownership in a lot. I don't know if you'd say like you dislike Jerry as an owner. It's what fans have the issue with, Matt, is him being the general manager.
Well, you have some success early. You got to think he owned the team less than a decade and won 3 world championships. And you got to, there's a point where it's that Dan Marino effect. It's like, oh, that was pretty easy. I figured that out. We're going to be able to do it again. It starts with the right quarterback. You got to get a little luck. When they lost their corner, number 7, who I thought was playing the best corner in the league when he got hurt, that hurts your defense, and you let Jordan Love come in there and smack you around a little bit. I just don't think, I know I could be in the minority of this, but I've been saying this since we've had the show. I don't think Dak Prescott's capable of winning a Super Bowl. And until you move on from him, I just don't think you have a chance. So it's another year. You're going to have to wait until you get a chance. And then when you let Ezekiel Elliott go, rightfully so, it was the right move. You didn't go out there and get another running back. You got to have, if Dak's your quarterback, you got to have 2 running backs. You got to have a running game if you're going to have him as your quarterback.
Well, like you're also saying, it's one more year, and it's a foregone conclusion that it's just the one more year, unless
you win it,
unless the crazy thing happens next season. And he actually does it in the contract year.
What is there, 32 NFL teams, 31? So 3% chance to win a Super Bowl. It's like, I don't know. Just this, if you're just going on that number alone, I don't. It's hard to do it.
Yeah, it really is hard to do it. Brent in Searcy is with us here on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Hey, Brent, thanks for the phone call. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Phil moved, so that's why I'm in Searcy, not Stuttgart anymore.
But I knew that. I knew this voice. It's at least your town starts with an S now.
Hey, Phil, great weekend at Rangers Ballpark. I just want to say one thing. I hope someday a first-class college baseball tournament does not need to be on Flow Sports. I'm just telling you.
I understand, Brent. I understand where you're coming from, but you have also, like, most of these baseball classics that are in college this time of the year are not on ESPN. Like D1 baseball was quote unquote televising or streaming a couple of the other ones, and Flow Sports had 1 or 2 other ones too. It's just, I truthfully, you're in a basketball season, so the SEC network is going to show basketball. They're not going to show baseball. ESPN is going to show basketball. They're not really going to show baseball until basketball season's over. So who's going to air it? I mean, you can put it on ESPN Plus, but I know we'll have complaints about that. I just don't know who else will televise it.
Well, thank you for explaining that to me, Phil. I just wanted to talk a little bit. That pitching this weekend was off the charts great.
It was ridiculous, Brent. You'll never see a weekend of more dominating starting pitching. Do you know the 3 starters, Smith, Tigert, and Molina, struck out over half the batters they faced? I mean, and didn't give up a single run. It's mind blowing.
Phil, I've got a question. Is that whoever our shortstop is? You know, Mr. Hawaiian.
Yes, Vahiba Aloy.
Is he going to start to hit, or with what we saw or is his problem he's coming from Sac State and he didn't face that type of pitching that he's facing now?
Brent, I'm going to put you on hold. I'll answer your question right here. I think part of it is the competition faced previously. It isn't talent. I don't think it's talent at all. Look, Aloy was the top hitter for this team against this pitching staff, against his own pitching staff in the fall and in the lead up to the regular season. If he can hit that pitching staff, he can hit anybody. But it's a matter of, you say, well, you got to put it into practice in the game. I don't think he's sticking to a plan during each at-bat. He just looks like he's much more free swinging than he would have been previously. Now, look, I mean, his numbers at Sac State show he was probably a free swinger there. But there's room to improve, and nobody's a finished product in college. He will improve. He has all the talent, the bat speed, the strength, the ability to hit it to all fields. It's just a matter of not swinging at the pitch that the pitcher wants you to swing at. And you can figure that out. You really can. And I think he will. And he'll get a chance to do it too. And Brent, it's always good to hear from you. We're going to wrap halftime up in just a moment. We can still get some more texts in here, 877-377-6963. And we'll wrap up halftime in just a moment.
Get ready to call the Hogs in 2024. Renew your football season tickets today and be there for the best home schedule in program history. Every voice matters, and we need Razorback Stadium rocking all season long from marquee matchups against Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, and longtime rival and new SEC foe, the Texas Longhorns. Season ticket holders, you can renew your tickets through the March 1st deadline. For more information about Razorback football tickets, visit ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
Are you interested in saving money on your heating bills and upgrading your home's energy efficiency? Now's the time. Installing or upgrading to natural gas allows you to take advantage of high-efficiency appliances that save energy and money. From furnaces to water heaters to gas dryers and fireplaces, there's a natural gas option to fit your home and your budget. What's not to love about that? Don't wait. Call AOG today at 800-842-5690 or visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, energy for life.
Walk-Ons is always a win. Whether it's a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner, Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and coming soon to Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Roses are red, violets are blue. If I had your bank account, I'd worry about alimony too. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Call today for a free consultation and ask about our special pricing for new divorce filings in February. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leaf-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? Come on over to Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Whacker Newson dealer and a Cinnabogan authorized service provider. From excavators with the best-in-class breakout force to powerful skid steers, we'll be sure to find the right equipment for you. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren, the best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Coming off the cooler, looking fresh and pretty. We gon' wear the nights till our heads and no bleed. Yeah, come along, angel. You gotta do what you gotta do. Just let me walk out. Let me walk out. Let me walk out.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
This Phanogram song has certainly slipped into our rotation of late, hasn't it?
It's slippery, that's for sure. It's kind of
slippery.
sneaky.
We need a few more of those. Hey, I don't know if you saw this, that Ohio has apparently granted a request by the NCAA to restrict collegiate player prop betting. So you can do this in Arkansas. You can do it on Bet Saracen and everything, but they're taking it away from any legal sports betting in Ohio. And I think that's interesting. That's very interesting, because that's a thing that people have worried about a little bit about, prop bets for college athletes. I wonder if that ends up happening in Arkansas at some point, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems to be a prop bet you can only put $5 on or something. It's not like your boy, was it Bohem that went up there trying to put 100,000? Yeah, you can't.
That was just on a game. That wasn't a prop bet.
Well, that's what I mean. They're limited a little more. I think it's be so easy to get to a player on something like that. Like, under 7 catches, just don't make it, but yeah, I mean, it'd be real easy to get to somebody. One of these kids.
When that ball comes to you, you're not going to catch it. You know that? You're going to have some slippery hands that day. You got it? You're going to butter your hands. You're not going to use that stickum. You got it? I mean, would you say no to somebody that talks like that?
That one of our last guests brought up the World Cup in a couple World Cups ago. It was one of the African countries teams. They went and kidnapped one of the best players on the team. They went and kidnapped his family and said, if you don't, this horse don't do what it's supposed to do, forget about it.
Well, you can still do the collegiate player props on Bet Saracen. They got all sorts of them right now up for tomorrow's Arkansas Vanderbilt basketball game, plus all the odds on today's NBA, college basketball, women's college basketball. Got some, even have some NCAA baseball games on the schedule today that you can put some money on Bet Saracen, or as we're always told by our friend Neil Atkinson, who joins us every Friday, they will have your table tennis out there. Says it is incredibly popular. Aussie rules football, rugby league, motorsports, F1, hockey. It's all there on your Bet Saracen app. Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. Get it on the Google Play or App Store, and you can always go online to betsaracen.com. So, man, these Mondays after baseball series and traveling, I sometimes the 3 hours feels like 5 or 6 just because I'm so tired from these weekends. This felt like an hour and a half today. It was good. It was good. I appreciate all the texters, even those who blamed Kyle Filipowski for the for getting run into the other day. So we'll see if he's available to practice. I'm sure John Shire is being asked about that at some point today. And all your questions on baseball, and we still have you got a lot of people that are kind of coming at C-Unit for not knowing much about Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin. March is going to be a very important month, Christian. You just watch. So,
see music.
I'm bad with names, but I do know songs, and I've heard a lot of songs that I probably can't put to a band or whatever, but yeah.
Well, you'll love Pink Floyd because he sang incredibly well, okay? Which one's Pink? Stay tuned for Ruskin and Zach. They're coming up in a moment, and the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast is downloadable in just a handful of minutes. For Matt Jones, for C Music, I'm Phil. Thanks for tuning in. That's Halftime. Get up, get out, and get better.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to